All right, Marine, strap in, because today we are diving deep into MCDP 8,
Ooh.
the Marine Corps Doctrine on Information as a warfighting function.
Yeah.
You already know that information is power,
Of course.
but this document takes that idea way further.
Really does.
It's like grabbing that classic maneuver warfare concept from MCDP 1,
Okay.
you know, bypassing defenses to tear apart the enemy's systems,
Right.
and applying it to the world of information.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
MCDP 8 wants Marines to see themselves as information warriors.
Yeah,
It's a huge shift from just protecting your own intel
right.
to actively using information to get an advantage.
Okay, so this is kind of like the playbook for information warfare then.
You could say that.
What makes this information warfighting function different, though? I mean, we've always had intelligence gathering, psychological operations, that kind of thing.
You're right, we have.
What's new here?
It's really about recognizing that information itself
Okay.
can be a weapon.
Oh, wow.
Just like a rifle or a tank.
Okay.
MCDP 8 talks about creating 3 advantages with information:
Right.
systems overmatch, prevailing narrative, and force resiliency.
Okay, so that's kind of like outsmarting,
Yes.
out-messaging, and outlasting your opponent.
Exactly.
All through the use of information.
That's the idea.
Okay, so this isn't just for intel folks.
Yep.
Every Marine is involved in this now.
Every Marine is an information warrior.
This systems overmatch thing is really interesting.
It is.
Can you give me an example of what that might actually look like?
Absolutely.
Like on the ground?
Okay, so picture this. You have a Marine unit
Yeah.
equipped with some really cutting-edge sensors
Okay.
and networked communications,
Okay.
and they're going up against an enemy force that's stuck with old tech
Oh, wow.
and slow decision-making.
Okay.
So the Marines can see the battlefield more clearly,
Right.
share information super fast,
Yeah.
and make decisions way faster than the enemy.
That's a huge advantage.
Yeah, it is.
That's systems overmatch.
Systems overmatch in action
Using information technology to create an advantage.
to create a decisive advantage.
Wow, that's a real game changer.
It really is.
What about this prevailing narrative idea?
Uh-huh.
I get that public opinion matters,
Yeah.
but how does that work on the battlefield?
So it's not just about winning hearts and minds back home.
Okay.
It's about controlling the story within the enemy's ranks,
Okay.
among your allies, and even influencing neutral parties.
I see.
Imagine a Marine unit doing like a fake attack.
A feint.
Yeah, feint.
Okay.
Using drones and electronic warfare to make it look like a much bigger force.
So make the enemy think there are more Marines than there really are.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
This could confuse the enemy,
Yeah.
cause them to hesitate,
Right.
make bad decisions,
Oh, wow.
or even retreat.
So you're shaping the narrative to your advantage.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's like psychological warfare.
Like a chess match, but with information?
Yeah, you could say that.
Now I'm starting to see how every Marine is involved in this,
Mm.
whether they realize it or not.
That's the key takeaway.
So how does MCDP 8 change the way we think about those traditional warfighting functions, like command and control, for instance?
Okay, so command and control, picture this.
Right.
You're trying to lead your Marines in the middle of a firefight,
Yeah.
and you're getting hit with bad intel, or your comms are jammed.
Bad situation.
Yeah, a really bad situation.
Okay.
MCDP 8 is all about building tough command and control systems,
Gotcha.
making sure you have access to good information,
Yeah.
even in crazy situations.
So it's not just about having the latest gadgets then.
No.
It's about having systems that can resist the enemy trying to disrupt them.
Or deceive them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
It's like building a network that's really tough to crack.
Oh.
Adaptable,
Yeah.
able to keep information flowing,
Even when under attack.
even under attack.
That's the kind of command and control MCDP 8 wants to see.
Exactly.
What about maneuver? How does maneuver change in this information environment?
Right.
Because it seems like a very physical concept.
It is.
Boots on the ground, tanks moving forward.
Yeah, you still need that.
Right.
But now, every movement you make sends a signal.
Okay.
MCDP 8 wants Marines to think about how their movements look to the enemy.
Okay.
Can you create distractions?
Uh-huh.
Can you use their reactions against them?
So it's like another level of the game.
It's like chess, but with real Marines.
Yeah.
You're trying to outsmart them on multiple levels.
That's a lot to think about.
It is.
How about fires then?
Okay.
How does fires fit into all of this?
Think about fires differently.
Okay.
Go beyond just blowing things up.
Right.
MCDP 8 wants you to use fires for their mental impact.
Okay.
Can you take out enemy communications
Yeah.
to mess up their command and control?
Uh-huh.
Can you use really precise strikes to confuse them
Yeah.
and make them make bad decisions?
So it's not just about the physical damage.
Right.
It's about the psychological effect.
The message you're sending.
Right,
So
exactly.
you're using fire strategically.
You're using your firepower strategically.
Now, what about logistics?
Okay.
Because logistics seems so tangible.
Yeah.
Beans, bullets, bandages.
But you got to have it all.
Where does information fit into that?
Okay, think of it this way.
All right.
If the enemy knows exactly where your supplies are,
Ah.
they can target those routes
And cut us off.
and cripple your whole operation.
That's bad.
MCDP 8 wants Marines to think about their logistics signature.
They're secondary.
Yeah, how visible are your supply chains to
Okay.
the enemy?
So it's about being smart about how we move supplies.
Yes.
Trying not to be obvious.
Minimize your footprint.
Yeah.
Make it hard for the enemy to gather intel.
Okay, so even something like a supply convoy
Yeah.
has an information component to think about.
It all has an information component.
This is really changing how I think about all this.
It's a new way of thinking about war.
Okay. Last one. Force protection.
I can definitely see how information is crucial for force protection,
Absolutely.
especially with cyber attacks and all the disinformation out there.
It's a huge factor.
So force protection in this age is about more than just physical barriers then.
It's way more than that.
It's about cybersecurity, operational security,
Right.
and being resilient
Yeah.
against all that propaganda and disinformation.
That's right.
So we have to protect Marines from information attacks,
Yes.
but also understand how information can be used to manipulate them.
It's about building a stronger force.
Mentally and emotionally resilient.
Exactly.
A force that can handle all of that.
All that propaganda and disinformation.
Yeah.
And keep operating effectively.
So MCDP 8 is about creating a new kind of Marine then.
A new breed.
A warrior who is strong and skilled,
Yeah.
but also understands information and is resilient.
Resilient to these new threats.
This is fascinating.
It's really interesting stuff.
So we've covered how information is related to each warfighting function.
We've covered a lot.
But how does MCDP 8 tell us to actually use information in the planning process
Well, it tells you to make information a part of every stage.
of planning?
Yes.
Think about how each unit, every Marine,
Every Marine
can use information.
generate it, preserve it, deny it, project it.
So we're making information a core part of planning.
Not just an afterthought.
Exactly.
Great.
Sometimes a unit's main effort might be purely information focused.
Yeah, like a deception operation.
Oh, wow.
What if, instead of taking that hill,
Yeah.
your mission is to make the enemy think you're going to take the hill?
So you're using information to control the battlefield.
You're shaping the battlefield.
Wow, this is a whole new way of thinking about warfare.
It really is.
This is already so insightful,
Glad to hear.
and I can't wait to dig even deeper.
Me too.
But for now,
Yeah.
let's take a quick break.
That's good.
We'll be back in a moment to talk about how MCDP 8 tackles training and education in this new information age.
Stay with us, Marine.
We'll be right back. Okay, Marine, we're back and ready to get even deeper into MCDP 8.
Let's do it.
Before the break, we were talking about how this document changes how Marines think about information
Yeah.
on the battlefield.
Huge changes.
But how do we actually prepare Marines for this new kind of fight?
That's where training and education come in.
Right.
MCDP 8 is really clear about this.
Okay.
Training can't just be about technical skills anymore.
So it's not enough to know how to use a computer or operate a piece of equipment.
Right. You need more than that.
Marines need to really understand the information environment.
They need to understand it deeply.
So it's not just about the tools, but about the mindset.
Exactly.
MCDP 8 keeps talking about this warrior mindset for
Yeah.
the digital age.
It's so
But
important.
what does that look like
Hmm.
in the information environment?
It's kind of abstract. Well, it's about having a healthy skepticism,
Okay.
questioning your assumptions,
Yeah.
and really understanding the motivations behind the information you see. Think about it, Marine.
Right.
Every day you're getting hit with information from all sides.
Yeah, that's true.
Social media, news outlets,
Yep.
even official channels.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You have to be able to tell facts from fiction,
Yeah,
identify propaganda.
that's tough these days.
It is.
And understand how information can be twisted.
People can use it to manipulate you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We've all seen how misinformation can spread.
It spreads like wildfire online.
It does.
And it can really influence people.
Changes their opinions, changes their actions.
Yeah, it's powerful.
It is powerful stuff.
How do you even train for that, though?
MCDP 8 actually has some really interesting suggestions.
Okay.
It talks about bringing information warfare scenarios into regular training exercises.
Oh, wow.
So instead of just focusing on those physical objectives,
Right.
you also have to think about how what you're doing looks to the enemy.
So like in the information environment.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're integrating these concepts into real training.
That's the idea.
Are there other examples?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
They talk about using real-world examples
Okay.
to teach Marines how to spot and counter those disinformation campaigns.
So like showing them actual enemy propaganda
Yeah, show them what it looks like.
and break it down
Break down the techniques they use to manipulate people.
so they know what to look for.
Exactly.
So the training has to be realistic.
As realistic as possible.
Show Marines the threats they might actually face.
The threats they'll face in the field.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it goes even further.
Oh, wow.
They suggest running simulations
Okay.
where Marines have to make decisions based on bad information
Bad information.
or information that could be misleading.
So like they're in a simulated environment,
Yeah,
but they have to deal with the fog of war.
with the fog of war.
Not just physically, but with information too.
Information overload, uncertainty.
Yeah.
You got to be able to think through it.
So they can learn to think critically.
Yeah.
Evaluate the information they have.
Make good decisions even when things aren't clear.
That's tough,
It is tough.
but it sounds really important.
In this information age, that's crucial.
Yeah, because the battlefield is always changing,
It's constantly shifting.
and the enemy is actively trying to trick you.
Trying to deceive you, yeah.
Wow, this is really making me think about information warfare in a whole new way.
It's complex.
It's like another dimension of the battlefield.
It is. It's a whole other dimension.
It seems like MCDP-8 is really pushing the Marine Corps to be a leader in this area.
It is. It wants the Marine Corps to be at the forefront.
Yeah, this document is a clear signal
Very clear signal.
that the Marine Corps gets how important information warfare is,
They understand.
and they're serious about it.
They're committed to developing the doctrine, the training,
Right.
the capabilities to dominate in this space.
This focus on training and education is crucial.
It's the key.
You could have the best technology,
Yeah.
but Marines don't know how to use it
Or protect themselves.
or protect themselves from information threats.
It's pointless.
It's all for nothing.
You said it.
MCDP-8 makes a good point.
Yeah. What's it?
The most important weapon in the information war is the Marine's mind.
That's a powerful statement.
Okay, so we've talked about how MCDP-8 looks at training and education,
We've covered a lot.
but how does it address the need for the Marine Corps to keep up with technology?
Yeah, that's a great question.
And things change so fast.
Technology moves so quickly.
How do you even stay ahead of the curve?
Well, MCDP-8 tackles that head on.
Okay.
It knows that technology is always changing
Yeah.
and that the Marine Corps has to be flexible to keep up.
So it's not just about buying the latest and greatest tech.
No, you need more than that.
You need to be creative,
You have to innovate.
create a culture of innovation.
A culture of innovation in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
It's about always looking for ways to improve,
Ways to adapt to new threats.
embrace change.
Embrace change, yeah.
MCDP-8 specifically calls for more experimentation
Okay.
and wargaming,
wargaming.
not just to test out new technology,
Right.
but also to explore new tactics.
And strategies.
So you got to be pushing the boundaries,
Challenging those boundaries.
trying new things,
Finding out what works.
figuring out what works in this ever-changing information environment.
Yeah, it's always changing.
And it's not just about what works today,
No.
but what might work 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road.
That's thinking ahead.
Yeah, MCDP-8 is calling for a long-term vision,
Long-term vision of force development
anticipating future threats,
and challenges.
and making sure the Marine Corps is ready.
That's the goal.
So we're talking about thinking strategically,
Thinking strategically.
looking ahead and preparing for the future of warfare.
The future of warfare.
But how does all this affect the individual Marine?
Right. Good question.
What should they be thinking about?
Well, the big takeaway here
Yeah.
is that every Marine is an information warrior,
Whether they know it or not.
whether they realize it or not. Yeah.
Their actions on and off the battlefield
All their actions,
have an impact.
they have an impact on the information environment.
So even small things can have big effects.
A butterfly effect.
Yeah, the butterfly effect.
Small things can have huge ripple effects.
What you post online,
Yeah.
what you say to people,
Even just how you carry yourself
how you act.
can help or hurt the Marine Corps.
So be mindful of your information footprint.
Think about the information you're leaving behind.
And you're always representing the Marine Corps.
Always
Even when you're not in uniform.
Even in civilian clothes.
It's like you're always on duty in the information environment.
That's a good way to think about it.
That responsibility extends to the digital world, too.
It does.
What you share.
What you read.
What you consume.
The groups you're in online.
Yeah, all of that can have an impact.
It can affect your unit, the Marine Corps as a whole.
So MCDP 8 is asking for a new level of awareness.
New level of awareness.
A new level of responsibility.
When it comes to information,
it's not just following orders.
It's bigger than that.
You're an active participant in the information battle space.
An active participant.
And your actions have consequences.
You got to understand that. It's like the information environment is another battlefield.
Yeah.
Every Marine has a part to play.
To make sure the Marine Corps succeeds in that domain.
Everyone has a role to play.
We've talked about personal responsibility.
A lot of responsibility.
But how can individual Marines help win in this new environment?
How can they get that information advantage?
Are there things they can actually do?
Well, first, they have to educate themselves.
Okay. Learn about it.
MCDP 8 is a great start.
Yeah, read the document.
But there are tons of other resources out there
Okay.
for Marines who want to learn more.
About information warfare.
About information warfare, how to be a part of it.
The Marine Corps is investing in this stuff.
Investing heavily in training and education.
So take advantage of those opportunities.
There are a lot of opportunities out there.
So it starts with taking charge of your own education.
Taking charge.
And finding the information you need.
To be effective in this new battle space.
It's a new battle space.
And it's not just about learning passively.
Okay, so not just reading a book.
It's about actively engaging with the information environment.
Okay, how do you do that?
Think critically about what you're reading.
Okay.
Think about what you're seeing.
Be aware of how your actions can change things.
How you can affect the battle space.
You're not just consuming information.
Bro.
You're producing it, shaping it.
You're an active participant.
You're shaping the information environment.
You have a voice.
Yeah.
And that voice matters.
Okay.
You can help spread good information.
Yeah.
You can counter enemy propaganda.
Fight back against it.
And shape the narrative.
To support the Marine Corps mission.
That's what it's all about.
That's power.
If every Marine can be an influencer.
An influencer.
Shaping perceptions.
Yeah.
Influencing outcomes.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to using information to outsmart the enemy.
Right.
How can Marines do that in the field? First, understand that everything you do sends a signal.
Okay.
Your movements,
Uh-huh.
your communications.
Even your silence.
Even your silence. Wow.
The enemy can see it all.
They can interpret it.
And use it against you.
So we have to be aware of our information signature.
Information signature.
And think about how the enemy is seeing us.
How they're perceiving your actions.
Right.
You can use that to your advantage.
Okay.
You can deceive the enemy.
Make them think you're doing something you're not.
Make them hesitate.
When they should be acting. We're turning information into a weapon.
Information is a weapon.
Shaping the battlefield with it.
Shaping the battlefield.
It's like 4D chess.
It is.
With an information dimension.
A whole other level of complexity.
Yeah, MCDP 8 is clear about this. In modern war,
information isn't just a supporting element.
It's the main thing.
It's the primary battleground.
Yep.
And the Marine Corps wants to be the best at it.
They want to dominate this new domain.
This has been a really great discussion of MCDP 8.
It's been fun talking about it.
I think our listeners are starting to see how big a deal this document is.
It's a game changer.
So the Marine Corps.
For the whole Marine Corps.
It's not just a set of rules.
It's a new way of thinking.
It's a whole new way of thinking about how the Marine Corps fights.
In a world where information is so important.
Where information is both a weapon and a target.
That's exactly right.
It's a lot to take in.
It is a lot.
But it's also really exciting to see how the Marine Corps is adapting.
Adapting to this new reality.
I'm really interested to see how all of this plays out in the real world.
Me too.
How it shapes the future of warfare.
How it shapes the future.
You said something earlier.
Oh, I did.
About every Marine being an information warrior.
Even off the battlefield.
What does that look like in practice?
Let's look at a few scenarios.
All right, so we left off talking about how every Marine is an information warrior, even off duty.
Even when you're not in uniform, yeah.
So let's make this real.
Okay.
What does that actually look like?
Okay. Imagine this. You're a Marine.
Okay.
You're scrolling through social media.
Just relaxing?
Yeah, just chilling.
Okay.
And you see a post that looks like it's spreading lies about a current operation.
Okay. So it might look real.
Yeah, could be convincing.
But something's not right.
Something feels off.
Okay, so what do you do?
First, don't just share it.
Okay.
And don't just ignore it.
Don't dismiss it.
Yeah. This is where that warrior mindset comes in.
Okay, that critical thinking.
Start asking questions.
Like,
Who posted this?
okay.
What's their angle? What are they trying to do?
Yeah, what's their motivation?
Where's the proof?
Right? Is there any evidence?
Could this be fake, designed to cause trouble,
To mess with people.
to undermine morale?
Yeah. So discord, like you said.
Exactly.
So we're engaging with the information critically,
Even when you're off duty.
even in your personal life.
Always be thinking critically.
Okay, so we're asking questions.
Yeah, and then take it a step further.
Okay, what do we do?
Report that suspicious post.
To the platform.
Yeah, to the social media platform.
Okay.
Use your knowledge to counter it.
In the comments.
Respectfully.
All right.
Or share good information from sources you trust.
Okay.
You're fighting back against those bad narratives.
Actively fighting back.
You're on the front lines.
So even simple things online can make a difference.
They really can.
What about situations outside of the digital world?
Okay, so you're home on leave. You're
Yeah.
at a bar,
Okay, just hanging out.
relaxing, having a drink.
Yeah.
And you overhear some people talking.
Okay.
They're spreading rumors about the Marine Corps.
Bad rumors?
Yeah, based on something they saw online.
It's easy to get pulled into those conversations.
It is, especially when someone's disrespecting the Corps.
It can feel personal.
When they're challenging your identity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tempting to get defensive.
But we're information warriors, even in civilian clothes.
That's right. Never forget that.
MCDP 8 talks about operational security,
OPSEC.
even in casual setting.
Even when you're off duty.
So think before you speak.
Don't just react.
Do you really need to argue with these people?
Sometimes it's better to walk away.
Yeah. Sometimes engaging just makes things worse.
And you might accidentally reveal something you shouldn't.
Right, protect yourself and the core.
That's what OPSEC is all about.
I get it, it takes discipline,
It does.
especially when you're proud of your service.
You want to defend the Corps.
You want to set the record straight.
But sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
I see that.
But there are other times
Yeah.
where a calm, informed response can be more effective.
Okay, so how do we do that?
You could gently challenge them.
Oh, well,
Say something like, actually, my experience has been different.
yeah.
Share a positive story about your service. Or point them to a credible source of information.
So you're not trying to start a fight.
No, you're not arguing.
You're just planting a seed of doubt,
Making them think twice.
countering that negativity.
Exactly.
So it's about choosing your battles carefully,
Choosing your battles.
understanding that your words have power.
Even in casual conversations.
You're an ambassador for the Marine Corps,
Always an ambassador.
whether you're in uniform or not.
That's right.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive into MCDP 8.
It has been.
We've really gotten a better understanding of what information warfare is all about
How complex it is.
and how it's changing the battlefield.
Changing everything.
Any final thoughts for our Marines out there?
Marines, MCDP 8 is a call to action.
Yeah.
It's a challenge to every one of you
To step up
to become a warrior in this new domain.
the information domain.
Take ownership of this.
Be proactive.
Never underestimate your power.
The power to change the information environment,
Your actions matter.
even the small ones.
They can make a real difference
In the fight for truth.
for the values the Marine Corps stands for.
Well said.
Thank you.
Marines, you are the front line in this new age of warfare.
You are the tip of the spear.
Study MCDP 8
Learn its lessons.
and use it in everything you do.
Apply it to your service
The future of the Corps
and the future of our nation.
depends on you mastering this new battle space.
It all comes down to you.